Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Wow, you almost witnessed something unbelievable. From Sruli Engelstein, we have a lot of guests today. We're going to say Shalom Aleichem when everybody gets situated. This is the actual snowboarding and learning. This is how you do it, Rabbi Isai. You bring the Gemara with you. You see as ripped out page. No, that's photocopied. Beautiful, beautiful. Rabbi Isai, I took this off the when we used to be in the old building. During Slichas, we had to go downstairs to the. So here's a picture. You recognize anybody? Look at Mendy. Started. And then we have over here, Levi Friedman used to sit next to me. Levi. What happened to Hillel? I haven't seen him in. Here's Nachman. Wow. And this, I think, is Yosef Erdman? Who's that? Is that Avi Gargir next to him?
Yes.
And here's Menachem Atel. Looks the same. Pace in the same spot.
Same facial expression.
Same. And here, whoa, Dr. Epstein is there. Look at that. Same. Hasn't changed. You haven't aged. Doc, where are you? How you doing, Doc? You recognize yourself? You recognize yourself on the screen? Amazing. And then I have one more for you. This is for Reb Nachman. This guy comes scootering in on a scooter right behind me. He was over. But I snapped the shot. How old is he today? Like 19?
That's Ari.
That's Ari. Of course it's Ari.
20, he's 20.
He's 20 years old today. Wow. He came on one of those, he had electric thing?
Not then.
But he came flying, it looked like he was...
Maybe it was on a roller those days it was allowed.
Yeah. Jason Goldfarb. Everybody, you've been listening to Daf Yomi Shiva the past few months. I want to share a few thoughts. I'm a product of Yeshiva day schools, from nursery all the way through college and a gap year in Israel, but I never really learned how to just pick up a sefer and learn, either on my own or with a group. Endless amounts of tutoring didn't change that either. Years ago, I listened to Daf Yomi on my commute. It worked out for a bit, but when my work schedule changed, I drifted away. And about 2 years ago, a friend dragged me into a small Shabbos Gemara Chabur with guys very similar to me. The pace is slow. We finished Gita in about 5 years, but every week I still have to push myself out of my comfort zone to crack open the Gemara. My old Rebbeim would never believe I'm still showing up. I've been thinking about getting back into the Daf, but the local shiurim I tried brought back the worst parts of my yeshiva experience. Non-interactive, whatever, and frankly sleep-inducing. They mostly felt like the Maggid Shir was just reading and droning. To be able to say he gave a share between that and schedules that didn't sync with my family and professional life, I wasn't exactly jumping out of bed at 4 a.m. to do that again. Then in September, my oldest son, he's in Shana Ben in Yeshivat Kotel, getting ready to draft the IDF, suggested I try your share. I started near the end of Harius, then really clicked in with Zvachim. I haven't missed a day since. Your share is fun, clear, and totally connected to both Torah and real life. Diagrams, models, videos, make the daf come alive, and your sense of humor lowers the anxiety level for people like me who carry a lot of baggage from the yeshiva system. If one person gets it because of the way you teach, and I know I do, that's a huge win. Ignore the haters. They have no clue how life-altering the style of learning is for someone who never enjoyed cheer unless he was getting thrown out. You made the daf accessible and genuinely enjoyable. Technology really is a gift from Hashem when it's used in the way you use it to pull people like me back into learning and to keep us there. Now my younger son, who's heading to Israel next year, is also listening to your shir. We often talk about the daf together. That's something I never imagined would happen. It's unbelievable. Father, son, talking and learning. I don't take it for granted for a nanosecond, and my Rebbeim would never believe it. I also wanted to float one small idea for MDY that I think could be great for the Olam as a fundraiser. What about a subscription so people who listen to Yeshir automatically get the next Masechta of the official edition Gemara delivered in time? Ari always talks to me about it, and something we'll do once we get into a group. I saw you have, Shalom Aleichem, what's your name?
Shimi Goldblatt.
From? Flatbush. So I see you using the Gemara. It's okay?
It was given to me when I came here.
I'm not using it. You have no idea. You have no idea. What about you? You bring it. You brought it last night.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Okay, so here's the thing. So when we get into a groove and the next one comes out, first of all, Chelik Bey is going to be much better than Chelik Aleph. I'm just getting better as we go along. It's a work in progress. What?
It's the sequel.
The sequel. The sequel is better than the original. No, we had a certain vision. We want the Gemara to reflect MDY. It should be fun and geschmack to read, easy to read, flowing. Pshat is right there, and we're getting there, Be'ezer Hashem. So once we're in a groove, we'll do a subscription. It's not a fundraiser as much as just have a subscription. Keep up what you're doing, and thank you for bringing me back to the daf and for getting my son started best. Jason Goldfarb, Yeshur Koyach, Jason. Daniel Cohen, my story with the daf starts a little bit different than others. This summer, August 23rd, my son, Moshe Ben Malcolm, may have a speedy and full recovery. He was severely injured in his eye. Of course, it happened on Shabbat. We were helicoptered from New Jersey to New York. We were seeing doctors daily to do whatever we could to save his eye and his vision. My father started the daf, and cycle told me it would be a good idea to start the daf in Hurry since it's only 14 daf in honor of my son's refuah shlema. A lot of people, because back then Nasano told me we should do a big push for Hurry because it's only 13 daf. I said, but you know, who's going to want to do a siyum on 13? A lot of people took that, and it was their start of joining Daf Yomi. So he did it in honor of his son's refuah shlema. I said, okay, I'll do anything. So I did the daf, and we made a siyum for my son. After that, I said I would keep going. I'll be honest with you, Zvachim tested me greatly. I would work all day, come late, and then do the daf. Wait on me, it's stressful, confusing, kept going. I'm just skipping around here. Things more calm, pick up it again. So I finished Zvachim. The next day, I didn't even pack a new Gemara with me. I was done. That morning, my brother texted me if I could give him a lift to work, something that rarely happens. I said, of course. I pick him up, and as I pull over, he says, want me to drive so you can do the daf? Mam Hashem was speaking to me saying, I'm not alone. I'm not done with you. I want more learning from you. How could I resist? But I didn't have a book with me. Then I remember someone told me about your classes in AI video. I said, what better time to give it a try? You can believe it brought me back to the daf. It's no longer stressful, but something I look forward to. The and in the first few seconds of the video make me smile every day. I'm still learning every day for full shlema of my son, as he still has long road ahead of him. But Hashem has been holding his hand the whole way, and we have seen amazing Yeshuas. What's his name again? Moshe Ben Malka should have a refuah shlema. Daniel Cohen. Oh, this summer we're planning to come there to stroll for my son's bar mitzvah. Happens to be the day that we're flying. Bez Hashem is the anniversary of my son's injury. How that happened, I don't know, but I would love to attend one of your shiurim live while you're here. Thank you for all that you do, Daniel. Rabbi Yisai, the official edition, MDY Shas. The daf is by anonymous Bracha Bat Chana. Daily sponsors, anonymous, world's best dad, Aaron Ben Chai Sarah, who starts his clinical trial today, Refuah Shlema. Powwow events, MDY satellite location, Powwow. March 3rd, 16th to the 17th at Westin Chicago for Thrive Midwest Healthcare Show. Yeshur Koyach, whoever you are, Powwow events. The official edition MDY Shas Masechta by the Iranian Levi family's Perek Anonymous. Lili Nishma Zachariah Ben Moshe. Masechta sponsor David Solomon. Dedicated memory of Avi Marib Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov Zechron Levracha. Masechta sponsors Joel Gedalius. Lili Nishma, my father Jack Gedalius. Anonymous. Haslacha Baruch Nis Uvagashmis. The Palchik Family Foundation. Lezech Nishma Harav Agoy Reb Shlomo Palchik. The Metchetzer Eloi. Anonymous, Refuah Shlema LaMoshe Ben Izaha. Anonymous for a complete Refuah Shlema and Arichas Yom Talea Bas Esther Yisrael and Malki. Toili Torah Spicho Malfei Zav Chesed. We're so proud of you, Yaakov Mordechai. Keep steiging. Send the Grossen family. Canby Island, UK, in honor of Rebelli, who changed my meaning of life. Plenty Almighty. Yossi, Mark, and Benny, and all the Oiskim B'Tzorchi MDY. Kosh Baruch Shalom Schorem. Ari Simon, monthly sponsors. Ari Simon, Refuah Shlema Avi Mori Baruch Ben Miriam. Jamie Azulai, Refuah Shlema Esther Bas Luna. Moshe Aaron and Miriam Landy, Hoydel Hashem Kitov, Kilo Elam Chazdoi. Anonymous, in memory of Mazal Bat Leo Besanada and Hiskia. Monthly sponsors Anonymous, this chus of birth that's good and open and revealed way for Yosef Mordechai Ben Bat Yuleo Meid. Yehudis and Yehuda Lewis as this chus for everyone in need of a shidduch. Amen. Anonymous, for the merit of Michal Ben Yisrael Yosef, success and blessing in all areas of life. By Sprinting Alan Gross, Nishmas Shlomo Zalman Ben Yitzchak Isaac, Ben Yoman Isaac Ben Tzvi Hirsch Shakoyin, for Shlema Yonatan Eitam Ben B'Sheva Bracha. Anonymous, for the merit of Refuah Shlema from Malka Baschayo. Centers.com, helping Yidden Davin B'Tzibur with pop-up minyanim anywhere worldwide. L'Nishmas Chaim Shalom Ben B'Tzalel. And the art for the month, Refuah Shlema Yonatan Eitam Ben B'Sheva Bracha Amen. Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. Refuah Hayela Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther. Fine. Here we go. What do we have yesterday? We had two brises that contradicted each other. Brisa number one says the tzitz that the Kohen Gadol wears on his forehead doesn't have the power to forgive, to allow a carbon that the person through the blood b'mezid, the yachid, the b'mezid, and the other one says that tzitz is meratza mezid. So he said that one brisa is Rebbe Eliezer, the other is Chachamim. That's where we're holding. So let's just go back to where it says, this is where you find that Rebbe Eliezer holds that it sits, gives kapara for eating. Is that what we're holding, or we're holding a little weiter? Eimad the Shamaslei. Oh, Eimad the Shamaslei. Let's Eimad the Shamaslei. Eimad the Shamaslei, the Rebbe Eliezer betruma the kilo. Maybe Rebbe Eliezer, yeah? No?
Where you started is real off. That's where we started. That was what you started from.
Okay, fine. So I'm going back. Eimad the Shamaslei, Rebbe Eliezer, the Meratzah Tzis al Chilois. Where did you see that Rebbe Eliezer doesn't give a knas at all? In the Shabbos Rebbe Yosi, Shabbos Rebbe Eliezer, we're smack in the middle of a sugya. So when we find that Rebbe Yosi doesn't give any penalty at all when it comes to truma. So too Rebbe Eliezer. V'sanyo Rebbe Eliezer im bein b'shogeg bein b'mezid truma say truma. Here we go. So you see this idea that there's no, if a person, he shouldn't take truma, he shouldn't give the kayin the 2% from the tummy stuff. Why? Because that hurts the kayin. But if he does, it works. And Memela, everything goes fine. We'll say it goes like Rebbe Eliezer. We have a contradiction. The Brises, okay, it's not a contradiction. One Brise goes like Rebbe Eliezer, one goes like Chacham. Aim the Shabbos Rebbe Eliezer, betruma the kilo. I see, okay, maybe Rebbe Eliezer only said his thing by truma where there's no knas. Why? Because it's something lighter. But we know the kachim, the Beis Hamikdash, it's a lot more severe. Maybe Rebbe Eliezer doesn't say his thing there. It says Gemara Imkain Haman Tirmiya. So who are you going to throw it at? It has to be. We don't have anybody else. Nobody else is in the lineup. So the only person available is Rebbe Eliezer. Fine. I'm just curious if anybody remembers. We had a video, one of our videos, of Ketores that fell off the Mizbeach. Does anybody remember that video? Ketores fell off the Mizbeach and then a helicopter came. No.
The meat falling off the Mizbeach.
That was Poikin. The meat and Ketores fell off, but then the helicopter made an afkimina. You don't remember. Okay, fine. It wasn't so memorable. At least that. At least something visual, a video. Fine. Ravina, here again. We have a contradiction. The two brises. One says this is Meratz Amazed. One says this is not Meratz Amazed. What do we do? Says Ravina, very simple. There's two steps in the whole process. There's when you make the blood tameh, and then when you sprinkle the blood. There's two different things. So he says, if you put your hand in the blood, you took a rat, you put it in the blood, and you did it on purpose, then the tzitz will be meratza. That's step one. Because the step one was deliberate, the tzitz will work. But the more important step of sprinkling the blood, that you cannot use blood that's tameh on purpose. Then the tzitz won't be meratza. Nafkamina of when it became tameh and when you sprinkle it. As you can see over here, the brayse that says that the tzitz is not meratza, that's talking about the second step. Step two, when you sprinkle the blood. But step one, I just put a 1 and a 2 to make it more, in my mind, 1 and 2. In the beginning, when you see the blood, and you walk over the blood and you touch the blood, that, if you did it on purpose, we're going to forgive it. If later on you do it b'shogeg, if you sprinkle the blood b'shogeg. So, inside, Ravin Omar Tumasai, when it became tameh the blood, b'shogeg b'mezid hurtza. Zrikasai, but when you sprinkle it, b'shogeg hurtza, b'mezid loy hurtza. That you cannot do deliberately when you throw it. V'Rav Shila Omar, the exact opposite. Take a look. Boom. Do this one. That didn't fall in place so well. But okay. The opposite. Zrikasai, b'shogeg b'mezid hurtza. The second step of Zrikas Hadam, when you sprinkle the blood, if you did it deliberately, then the tzitz does give you a kapar. That's it. But don't start off on the wrong foot. If you went and you took a rat and you put it into the bowl of blood and you made it tameh deliberately, tzitz is not going to help you out. Shila Omar Zrikasai Ben B'Shogi Ben B'Mezid Hurt. So when you do the Zrika, step 2 of throwing the blood, you could even do it deliberately, and the Tzitz has superpowers to overcome that. To Masai, but the initial step of making a Tameh B'Shogi Hurtza B'Mezid Hurtza, and the story. Rav Shila Hadik Tani Shenitma Ben B'Shogi B'Mezid. Brisa number 2. So look. Brisa number 2 on the left. We're talking about Zrika, but it says Mefurish Shenitma, which seems like what we said. We touched up Brisa number 1. Not talking about Zrika. We're talking about that it became Tameh. Says the Gemara, and I found that today's daf has a few of these. Doichaks, like kind of like, Hachi Ka'amar, this is what he really meant. Let's count them even. Nitma b'shoigeg uzrakoi. You have to stick in a word, and he sprinkled it. Bein b'shoigeg bein b'mezid. Yeah, no, we're talking about Zrika. We're not talking about Nitma. Okay. Daf Chavav. Toshma, what?
Doesn't count. That's number 1.
But there's a number 2 right away again. Toshma Adam Shenitma uzrakoi. Another question. In Brisa number 1, it says that the blood was Tameh, and then it says uzrakoi. You said Brisa number 1 is talking about Tumah, and all of a sudden over here it says uzrakoi. Like you explained Brisa number 2 Zrika. Really, Brisa number 1 is talking about Zrika. B'shogi hurtza b'mezid hurtza. Hachika Amar, another one. Dam shenitma uzrakoi bein b'shogi b'mezid. Nitma b'shogi hurtza b'mezid hurtza. In other words, Zrika, even if it's b'mezid, is okay. Fine. Says the Mishnah. So how does it work? You take the kmitza out of the mincha, you put the kmitza on the mizbeach, and then you get to eat the shirayim. What happens if there's no shirayim? No shirayim. Can you put the kmitza, or they depend on each other? Can you put a kmitza on a mizbeach when there's no shirayim? What happened to the shirayim? One of 3 things. Nitmo shirel, nisrfu shirel, other shirel. Either the shirayim became tameh, so they're right here in front of us, but you can't do anything halachically with it, or they were completely destroyed, or they were lost. So we have a machlokes. Kemidas Rebbe Eliezer Kshero, Kemidas Rebbe Yeshua Psula. What does Kemidas mean? We have a similar machlokes, Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Yeshua elsewhere. Can you perform Zrikas Hadam when there's no meat? Same exact thing. Can you be makter the koimetz? Can you put the kmitza on the mizbech if there's no dough, no flour? Can you sprinkle blood on the mizbech when the meat disappeared? Here, the pasuk says, "V'sisa ilasecha habasar v'hadam." So it seems like they're connected. You need basar. In order to have dam, you need basar. What was this? Here's the dam, and you could sprinkle the blood if there's meat. That yes, but what happens if the meat disappears somehow? I don't know how. It got destroyed. Then it goes from mutter to machloikis. What is that called? Ein basar, ein dam. If there's no basar, no dam. Fine. According to one man. So Kemidas Rebbe Eliezer, just like the Rebbe Eliezer says by the meat and the blood, that if the meat disappears, you can still sprinkle the blood. So he says over here, if the shirayim disappears, you can still put the kmitza on the mizbeach. Kemidas Rebbe Shua. And on the flip side, Shua, who holds by meat, psula, that you cannot throw the blood if there's no meat. You need meat. Ein basar, ein dam, he holds. So over here also, ein shirayim, ein kmitza. Same idea. I hear. Says the Lamdan Reb Shamshi, he says the whole point of the kmitza is to be mater. That's what he says. Maybe it is mater also. He says, no, that's the whole point. Maybe that's the machlokes. The whole point of the kmitza, why are you putting it on this? To allow the shirayim to be. No, I thought it's part of the carbon. You're putting it on because you bring a carbon. You're giving something to Hashem. No. If that okay, yeah, it's part of. Okay, so something is missing from the carbon. If you find it afterwards, so it's not lost.
I get that, but if you're deciding that you're not going to do the kmitza
So he's saying it's dachui. You're asking a question of dachui. For that moment that it was lost, it became nidcha. I don't know. I hear. So we had yesterday a sugya where one of the kmitza got lost, and then they found it. It seems like it's okay. Omer Rav, v'hu shenitmu kol shirel. So we had three things in the Mishnah. It became tamei, it got burnt, and it got lost. He says, referring to the tamei, the only time you can't put it on the mizbeach is if 100% of the shirayim became tamei. So the kmitza has nothing to work with. It's not coming to be mat or anything. So then you can't put it on. Ava makes a shirei aloi. But if there's even a small amount of shirayim left over, that's okay. Very easy Gemara here. What?
Even
Everybody agree.
Everyone agrees.
Everybody agree that you could put the kmitza, you could be makta. Nitma ein over the sarv loy. How come he mentions the word? How come Rav says only the word tameh? There's three cases in the Mishnah and he only brings one. The answer is he meant all three, but he brought the first one in the Mishnah as just an example. And for that we have to wait a minute, that makes no sense. Why? Michael Savar, what does he hold? If you have a little piece left over, that's enough. You don't need the full shirayim. So then what's the difference? Tameh or got lost or got burned? If 90% got burned and there's 10% left, you have 10% left. What's the problem? And if 10% is not enough, so then why, if it becomes tameh, is it okay? So what are you going to say? Because the meratzit sits. Because tumah is special. You have the ritzui, the tzitz has superpowers on tumah. So then why does Rav say that if the entire thing, it's only when the entire shirayim became tameh? There's a difference between the entire thing and 90%. Why is there a difference? The tzitz should have the superpowers that overcome even a full tumah. The truth is that when you have 10% left, it's fine. Rav was going on all three cases. There's no nafkamina. Your question is a great question, and it just comes to prove that Rav meant all three cases, that if 90% got lost, 10% remains, 90% got burnt, 10% remains, it's fine, you can do the aktara of the kmitza. If I had to come on nitma, so why did he say nitma? He grabbed the first case. What are we trying to prove here? That if you have some of the shirayim left over, you can put it on the mizbeach, or a boy's side. This is a freebie because we had it exactly 2 weeks ago. Every word. When we're talking about whether you have enough meat to do the zrika, even if you have one kezayis of the animal, 99% of the animal went five, but one kezayis is left over, I could throw the blood on the mizbeach. Not only that, or kezayis chaylev, even a part of the fats that go on the mizbeach. What's the difference? Basar is edible for human consumption, and chaylev is for the mizbeach's consumption. But they're different. One is for humans, one is for the mizbeach, for the Rebbeinu Shalom. So meila kechatzi zayis basar kechatzi zayis chaylev, you cannot combine the two. You can't say, oh, I have a half a kezayis of meat that's steak, and I have a kezayis of chaylev, and put them together to have a full kezayis. No, in a zarek zedam, you cannot throw the blood because they don't combine. One is for humans and one is for the mizbeach. However, ba'oila avilu kechatzi zayis basar kechatzi zayis chaylev zarek zedam. The oila, you could combine the two. Why? Because the entire thing goes on the mizbeach. There's zero nafkamina between. There's no steak and there's no chaylev. It's all one. It's all kulil Hashem. So you take a half a kezayis of what should have been a steak, but it's not. It goes on the mizbeach, and a half a kezayis of fat. It goes on the mizbeach. It combines for a kezayis, and then you can do zrikas adam, zrikas adam. Mipnei shekula kol, because it all gets burnt. The bottom line is, you see that if you have a little piece left over, even a kezayis, you do zrikas adam. Great raya. Or mincha, this is wow, what's going on here? And if you have a mincha, afilu kula kayemes liizroi, you shouldn't throw the blood even if the entire mincha is left over. Mincha mayavita, what are you talking about? Where's the zrikas adam on a mincha? Mincha is made out of flour, not out of blood. Omar papa, mincha is the sagim. We're talking about a shlamim or an oila. So let's take a shlamim. You have a shlamim. How do you bring a shlamim? You bring a shlamim together with the wine, together with a mincha. In the mincha, you put some oil, and then the shlamim went bye-bye. It disappeared. So, can I throw the blood of the shlamim? Well, I have a whole bowl of a mincha, which goes together with the shlamim. So why shouldn't I be able to throw the blood? It's together. They come together. It's part of the same carbon. So maybe I should be able to throw the blood based on the fact that I still have leftover flour. No, you need leftover meat, not flour. Okay. But not immediately, how do I know that you need a kazayas, that a kazayas of fat is good enough? Now, there's different things. Let me ask you. If you have a kazayas of a kidney left over, can you do zrikas adam? Yeah. Kazayas of a kidney. Kazayas of fat. I don't know what. Could you do zrikas adam? The answer is yes. So the Gemara goes through it real quickly.
Kazayas of chaylev is left over.
What did I say?
Kazayas of meat.
I said fat, no? Fat. Fat, chaylev. Maybe because it's not basar. Mishum Rabbi Shmuel, u'mataba Mishum Rabbi Shmuel ben Chananya. It says a basar adam. Chaylev is not basar. Oh, it says chaylev. The whole pasuk is talking about zrikas adam. The pasuk goes like this: V'zarek ha'koyenes adam. He throws the blood. V'hikter ha'chaylev. So you see that zrikas adam has to do with chaylev. If you have a kazayis of chaylev, it's good. L'reich nechaylev shem. Chaylev avavi shein basar. Even though there's no meat left over. V'ashkon chaylev. Yoseres ushtei haklois menalan. How do you know that the skirt steak, that diaphragm that divides the body of the animal, mamish, it's like a wall between the lungs and the heart. Here, first of all, this is the stomach. This is what a murim, we always show this, but I have a real one here from Rabbi Avram Weisfish, our in-house shoichet. That's a murim, right? Here we go. That's the diaphragm. Diaphragm, Yiseres HaKaved. The chaylev ala kloyes. This is the fat surrounding the kidneys. Take a look. Here it is. Here's the kidney exposed. Geschmack, looks good. You guys are ready for chulin? Talking about kidneys. Oh, where was it? Dave. Oh, here it is. No, it's not after something happened there. This is the Guinness World Record of the most kidney donors. They have 2,000 donors, and this picture is 965. One of them is Yaakov Shafanas, Baruch's brother. He's in the picture right over here. Where's Waldo? We found him. Yeah. It gives people a geschmack to donate when you see these pictures. Hashem gave you 2 kidneys, one to use and one to give away. I'm talking to you guys. Exactly. Mom is like that. Yeah. We were by Fischl Meyer's house. He's like a giver, like that. Meyer Fischl, that's Fischl Meyer. The Fischl Shas, Fischl Meyer, Meyer Fischl's house. So he gave a kidney, and like 2 other people that he invited are kidney, like he convinced other people. That's his thing. You say Yaakov Shach Baruch. When are you giving a kidney? Because they're never. Shouldn't say that. You never know. You serious to stay close Manola. So you have to think in your head, I don't care about surgery, I don't care about recuperation, I don't care about anything. I want to give somebody else. It's like 2 weeks of my life, I don't know, it's like kind of difficult, but it's a serious surgery. They open you up. Just imagine sitting on a table. I had surgery on my knee a few times, and it's just, to me, it's like, wow, the anesthesia, and they knock you out, and you wake up, you feel like a truck hit you, to go through that whole thing. You have to be Mamshit Tzaddik. I don't see it. No, 100%. People should do it, and I want people to do it. I'm saying the truth. I can't get up there and say, yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. So you know what? I would do it, but I just have to say shir. So you
have an excuse.
Right. No excuse. Rabbi said, no excuses. Get up and do it. Rabbi said.
We all have to
come to Diktani u'mincha afilu kula kayem leIsrael.
Powerful it would be if you gave it, right? Then you gave the kidney. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. If it's possible,
live from the hospital.
Time out. Anybody that saw my knee in the last year knows that I need a surgery and I need it desperately, and I won't do the surgery because of the shear. No, I would go into surgery immediately to fix my knee. It's messed up. After 20 years, I had ACL surgery 30 years ago, and that's it. It just gave in, and my knee goes this way now. It's crazy. I'm like a balmum. So I could have surgery. I cannot do surgery. What do I do if I have surgery? I can't do it. So I have to wait until after brachas or something. It's crazy. That's only one of the mumim. Zog the Gemara. Diktani. Ube mincha afilu kula kayemes leYisroik. Oh. How do I know that if there's leftover kidney, I could do zrikas adam? It's considered meat. Diktani, because I'll prove it to you. It says that if you have flour left over, you cannot do zrika. Mashma, anything else but flour, you could. But how do I know it from the pasuk? Anything that gives a good fragrance, anything that you put on the mizbeach, including your kidney, it gives you the ability to do zrikas adam. And I need the two things. Simple tzrichusa here. I need those two words. Because of chaylev, it only said chaylev and not reach l'choyach. I need it to tell me that kidneys and a diaphragm, which is geschmack and meat today, yeah, that's a skirt steak. People like it, including myself. Is meat. Because Rahman reach l'choyach. Because Rahman reach l'choyach, we only say reach l'choyach. I would think anything that brings fragrance. In other words, even flour. No, flour doesn't count because Rahman Chaylev, it has to be fatty, it has to be meaty. It cannot be a reich nechayach that comes from cake, from flour. Just want to say real quickly, Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? From? Yishmak, that was fast and good. What's your name? From? Try tell from Muncie, Shkoyach. Who else? Oh, you. What's your name? From? Shalom Aleichem. You know each other?
Same area.
Shalom Aleichem. You? Who? This guy. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? It seems like I know you. From where? You've been here, of course. But you live right over here? You live in Bet Shemesh? Next row. Your father used to come here to share? That's you? Different grade. He did? You have a brother that went to America in yeshiva? That's somebody else. That's a cousin. What? Next row. No, he's doing aliyah. I know this guy. But I didn't say hello to him. Shalom, what's your name? You're finish your residency, and you're coming. You want to make aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. All right, Givaldik. It should go well.
He has something to say.
Who? What do you have to say?
Quickly.
Very quickly, because
I've been to Eretz Yisrael with a boys' trip only twice in my life. My wife has never been here.
Yeah.
And her friend said last year, we got to take you. We found out, and she's a nursery teacher, so it's only during yeshiva week that she could go this week.
Yeah.
We found out a few months ago, both my daughters were expecting around this time. They both said, Ma, we want you to go. Don't worry about it. My daughter gave birth Monday, 10 days, thank you, 10 days before her due date, and we're Baruch Hashem flying back Sunday night for the birth, Monday morning.
beautiful. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Kiss from Hashem. Everything worked out. Givaldik.
Baruch Hashem.
Givaldik. Beautiful. Says the Eli Mishnah. Says the Eli Mishnah. Shaloi b'kli sharis. If we're talking about, let's just review this real quickly. I think it's important to see this once in a while. I could find it. I can't find it. Lucky you guys. Oh, here. Rabbi Isai. This is Mendy Auerbach's favorite video, so we'll watch it again. L'chvayid Mendy Auerbach. Not mamish, but you know. The whole process of a mincha. Taking a sar and flour out of a kli sharis. So no, not that one. This is a kli sharis. Pour it. No, this one right here. Pour the oil into kli sharis, pour the flour into the sharis, and then you put another layer of oil. 2 layers of oil, you do blila. That bowl that he's doing the blila in is a kli sharis. Fine. So it gives it gedusha. This is, I wish I could fast forward a little bit. So now he's baking it. And what does he have to do now? Now he has to break it up into pieces. He has to do petitim from this because it's a certain type of mincha. He does petitim with. No. Not necessarily. Now this is called Yitzika. Third time of oil. Now this is called Hagasha. He puts it, touches the Mizbeach. Southwest corner. There's Levine over there. The frankincense. Put the Levine in. Now you have to move the Levine to the side. Before you do Kmitza, you have to move the Levine to the side. And now he's going to do Kmitza from this type of bread. Sometimes it's from flour, sometimes from doing Kmitza now. Now he puts it in, this is what I wanted to show you. He puts in another Klisharis and that gives it added Kedusha. It goes up in the level of Kedusha, that second Kli. Then he puts salt. And we're pretty much done here. Now he's going to do Aktara. There's one step after this. What do you do after Aktara? Yeah. You get to eat the Shirayim. Look at them go like this with their head. The nuances. Anyway. So, I don't know if you can bring herring into the Beis HaMikdash. It's a chulin. Here's the question. That step, everybody agrees that the mincha is done in a klisharis. The initial part is a klisharis. Everybody agrees that the going to the mizbeach part, you don't need a klisharis. The question is, the middle step, that second klisharis, is it necessary or not necessary? So it says the Mishnah, and that's even in Reb Shimon the question. We'll see in a second. Shaloi b'klisharis Pasol says the Tanakama that if you take the kmitza, step 2, here, like he already did something just for that, it's kind of strange. Like it looks like his hand, AI, like it looks like it's going right through the marble. Look, he took the kmitza and he didn't put it in a second vessel. He took it directly from his hand onto the mizbeach. Says the Mishnah, Pasol. Rebbe Shimon machshir. Rebbe Shimon says it's kosher. We're going to see 3 shitas in Rebbe Shimon itself, what he meant exactly. Hikte kumtza pamayim. After you took the kmitza, you have it in your hand, you put it down, you take a knife, you chop it in half, and you take one half and put it on the mizbeach. Then you take another half and put it on the mizbeach. The kmitza was done 100%. But you makter it in 2 times. Ksheira. What about if you makter in 4 times? The Mishnah says if you makter twice. What if you cut it up into 4 pieces? Is that okay? Oh, so we have machloik is whether or not it has to be kizayis or not. That's why it says hamay. Or maybe the Reb Chia. My time is Reb Shimon. Why does Reb Shimon say it's kosher? Also, freebie. We had this a number of times. If you want to use your hand, you must use your right hand just like a chatas. Says Rabbi Yehuda b'Rei Reb Chia. So we need to see this here. Says Rabbi Yehuda b'Rei Reb Chia in Reb Shimon, you need a right hand. If you're going to use your hand, it has to be right. If you're using a vessel, then it can be even to the left. But clearly you have to be small. Kashal. What's a chatas? Let's just show this real quickly. Brand new for today. I didn't like the size of the keren, but that's okay. There's only one carbon that you apply the blood by hand. Other carbonates you take, you sprinkle it with a kli. The chatas, you take it, you smear it on the corner with your hand. That's, if you want to do it with your hand, you have to use it right. You want to use a kli, then you're doing it like a asham. Here, asham, boom. That's a vremi, I think. He does it with his right hand. Great. Rabbi Yanai, what?
Correct. Even with the left. Even with the left.
Oh, even the left, and that is right over here with the left. With the left. Use it with the left. Great. Kasha. But bayad, you do it with your right. Rabbi Yanai Omar Kivin Shekumatza. He comes Rabbi Yanai, he says, Kivin Shekumatza miklishares ma'aleu maktir afilu behem yanai. Check this out, just so we're on the same page over here. Rabbi Yanai says that according to Rabbi Shimon, you don't need a kli. You don't need yamin. You don't need anything. You could even use your belt. Belt. Where's the belt? Here we go. Belt. Here's the belt. You can put it in your belt and walk around with it. I feel like you could even use earthenware. No. He says no such thing. everybody agrees that step 2, you need a kli. Here, as you see, Mamish, he did it great. You can see in picture number 1, all the way on the right, he's holding with his right hand, because he's using his hand, has to be right. The kli is holding the left. The Rabbi Yanai says, you could even use, you don't need a kli, you don't need anything, you use your belt, and he should have had the belt picture there, and Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, you can see over here, you need a kli, you need to put it in a kli. The second step, the kmitza, after you do the kmitza, you put it in a kli. Meisvei, I have a question on the first shita, on Rabbi Yehuda Rav Chia, that says that if you do it with your hand, it has to be in the right hand. Okay, that's not so important to us. It's not the question. You put the chalavim, the ivarim, all the stuff you put on the mizbeach, eitzim, and you could do it with your left hand. Hakoymet, that's for us. That's what we're talking about. Doing kmitza, vak toires, v'halavayna, the frankincense. Shalom, bein biyad, bein bikli, bein biyamin, bein bismail. What does Rabbi Yehuda say? With your hand, it needs to be biyamin. Over here it says, it could be with your left hand. Bein biyad, biyad, bein bismail. It says mafurish, yad, small. Cherin is great. Do the Rabbi Yehuda v'chiyah. Amalach Rabbi Yehuda v'chiyah is dalim katani. No, you didn't read it well. This is what it says. Hakayim, it's bein biyad, bein bikli. Whether you do it with your hand or with a vessel, bein biyamin, bein bismail. Guess what? Bein biyamin, bein bismail goes on the word kli. With a kli, you can do bismail. But biyad, you need min. Here, take a look at the chart for a second. Just the when it comes to yad, the last part of the sentence, biyamin, or bismail, is referring to the last word in the sentence, the word that comes before. The kli is biyamin and bismail. So shtikl doichak also. No? Goes in the list of doichak?
Yeah.
Okay. It's done in Ketan. Yeah, baby. I bedavka didn't read an email that I received about you, Rabbi. He says, no, it was going to give you too much confidence. He's like, I need... What's the guy from London that has my license plate? No. Eli... It says MDY something. No. He keeps here a bunch of times. His name is Eli. Eli Seller. Eli Sulam. So he's like, we should have a special mic for Baryeh. It's Tzar Belachayim. We hear the Olam laughing. We don't hear his jokes. How does he has his own mic? He has the loudest voice here. I don't know what he wants. Like a real mic, like right in front of him. Okay. Weiter. That we heard. That's Olam heard. Toshma. He wasn't like this when he was younger. Mendy, he's getting older. The Nervin. Yeah. Tashma, come on to Shalom Kli. He said, 1 minute, let's see. He sat right next to me, you know? Yeah. I had more control over him. I used to kick him under the table. Where were you? No, I'm in this. You took the picture. Where's Avi?
He also took the picture.
Look at that hair. Rabbi said, look at that black hair. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Toshma, come on to Shalom Kli Shores, V'kit Shalom Kli Shores. It says Mefurish, Kmotzoi. This is a question of Rav Nachman. What does Rav Nachman say? Let's go back to the chart. Rav Nachman says you need a vessel. So we're going to have a couple questions on him. Come on to Shalom Kli Shores. You didn't do a Kli Shores all the way in the beginning. Or you didn't the Gars, or they make it one sentence.
And they take out the shaloi.
They take out the shaloi. Depends what Gemara you're using. I'm saying they use the Hagos Tzionim. You didn't use a Kli Sharis for anything? Possible. They say step 2, you don't need a Kli. They don't need a Kli. You can use a plastic vessel. You can put it in a paper cup, in a plastic cup. But Rav Nachman says, what does Rav Nachman say again? You need a Kli. Here it is. Tzarech Kli. It's a kash of Rav Nachman. Eima mimatan Kli be'elach. What is that? Teichak number 4. We had one on the bottom, one on the top, one before the Zdadim, now this, 4. It's referring to from when, after you did the Kmitza, you put it into a Kli Sharis. Step 2, you took it out of the Kli Sharis, and you went from there. What avodas are we talking about now? Rav Moshe Vaseltzach. What avodas are we talking about? He already did the kmitza. He already put into kli sharis. What comes after that? Hoylacha and haktara. Says Rashi. Those two you don't need a kli sharis. Tashma. Chachamim say to do the kmitza, you got to put it into kli sharis. Keitzad kaitzay mikli sharis. You're doing the kmitza from a vessel that's kadosh. Umekachav kli sharis, and you put it and you add another kedusha in the second kli. Umalu baktir kli sharis, and even the whole hoylacha and aktar all has to be from a kli sharis. Rav Shimon Oimer, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says, kivin shekumatzim kli sharis. When you, as long as you do the kmitza, malu maktir shloi kli sharis v'dayoy. What's the question on who? On Rav Nachman, who says you need a kli. Rav Shimon says, once you do the kmitza from a kli sharis, you're done. You don't have to put it step 2 in a kli. What does Rav Nachman say? You have to do step 2, put in a kli. It's a kasha. Emo, maybe you could say, like the 5th one, kivin shekumatzim v'kitcha v'kli sharis, malu maktir v'dayoy. He sticks in another word. No, that there was a step 2. After step 2, then you don't need a kli sharis. Toshma, komatz b'yiminoi v'nosam b'smoiloi. He did kmitza with his right hand, and where did he put it in? In his left. Now this is negeh to us because if you have to put it into kli sharis, then putting it in the left hand would be a big no-no. You put it in his left hand without a kli, no kli at all. What should you do? There's a way out of it. Yavzul yaminoi. Put it back into your right hand. Bismailoi. What if you put it in your left hand and you start having different thoughts of pigul? It's not a real pigul. Why? Because it's in the left hand. Now, if he put it in his right hand, you have to stick in the word. If it's in his right,
Put it back.
I don't know. That's what it says about you.
Not here.
It says Echzir.
Okay, interesting. What does it say about you? And you're in the Why Gemara? Just says put it in his right hand. Okay. Okay. If it's in your right hand, then it's karas. The Rebbe Elazar, Rebbe Shimon. Where? Where does it say? I said that. I said. Chutz the Mekoyim Chutz the Karas. Chutz Zmani Pigul Chayim Karas. The Rebbe Elazar Rishim. Chachamim Ma'imrim Kivin Shenasana L'Smoil Pesaltem Atanasai. Once you put it into the left hand, it's all over. Turning to the Daf at our global, your one-stop shop for all your financial needs. Isaac Castle, in honor of all them, the white divers in South Florida, we shall all be Zoicha. Matzliach Baruch Nisu B'Gashmis, anonymous in memory of Moshe Ben Peretz for Siyard side Chav Zayin Shvat. Stam, a quick question. When is it halacha you take from your right and put it in your left? Your son got it. Your son got it. What's his name? Moshe. Moshe said it. Netilas Yadayim, in the morning, every time. You fill up with your right, and then you pass it to your left, and then with your left, you wash your right hand first. But first,
What are you doing? We said you don't do pigul on one of the 4 avodas. You're moving from the right to the left, and you're doing avodah.
No. It's the Kabbalah. It's the Kabbalah.
You didn't do Kabbalah yet.
No, that is the Kabbalah. No, time out. That is your kli. You did kmitza, and the Kabbalah is your left hand. That's Kabbalah is a kli. Kabbalah is a kmitza. Instead of a kli, you use your hand. Yeah. But that is the kli. It's acting as a kli. What do you mean? Instead of having a kli, you use the left hand.
If you already did the Kabbalah, there's no pigul after.
Exactly. If it's in the left hand, it's not pigul for real. It's not the rest. You don't get chorus. It's just possible. Huh? No. In the Kabbalah stage, we're not in halacha yet. Why halacha? You're supposed to. There's 4 things. You're supposed to do kmitza, then you put it in a kli, that's Kabbalah. Then you do halacha, and then you do aktara. Over here, you took it and put it in the left hand. Exactly. Oh, here we're getting there. Look. Why do they say you can't put it in the left hand? If you put it in the left hand, there's no way out of it, because you have to be mekadosh in the second kli. The kivin shenasana is small, and once you put it into the left hand, nasik adam nishbach mitzaver beheim ala ritzba v'asavi shepas. It was a little tricky in Zvachim. It was simple. We got it at the end, but we had that if the blood falls on the floor, you cannot pick it up and do zrika. But if the blood was in a kli and then fell on the floor, then you could grab it up like you do on Pesach. You take 1 scoop of blood from all the bloods and you do a Akol Panim, it says that if it fell on the floor, you can't, it's puzzle. Miklal, Reb Elazar, Reb Shimon, Lo Bo Matan Kli. Reb Elazar they say that it's not puzzle. If you put the kmitz in the left hand, why? Because you don't need a kli at all. To Yufta, the Rav Nachman says you need a kli, and over here you see you don't need a kli. To Yufta, it's a bomb question. What does Rabbi Yehuda say on the chart? That you need a right hand. So it's great. Why? Because it says that you have to put it back in your right hand. The Rabbi Yana says you could even use your belt. Why do you have to put it back in your right hand? You could even use a belt. You don't need any kli. Tiyufta. It's a good question. Rabbi Yana can say, I know the Amri Ketana the Hector. If you remember, very simple. We did a whole shtick over here that when it comes to kli, you need to use right and left, even left. When it comes to your hand, left is no good, only right. But that was like tzdadim. He says, no tzdadim. I'm reading the brisa as is. When it comes to your hand, you could even use the left. Bein biyad, bein b'kli, bein biyamin, bein b'smol. Yamin and small goes also in yad. Before we said, our pshat was, when it comes to hand, it's only yamin. It says in the brisa yamin and small. No, that's going on the second words. He says, no, I don't like that. That's a tchak. That's l'tzdadim. I'm going for real. What it says, like you and I would read it. If you use your hand or a kli, you can use the right and the left. So it's not a question on me. I go like this Tana that says you can use your left. I know you're not active. Great. The Chavavam Beis. We're holding like already 12 lines now. It says in the Mishnah that if you take a kmitza from the bowl and then you cut it in half and you put it on the mizbeach, it's good. You can't chop that into two. You can't have 4 pieces. You can only have 2 pieces. Why? As you guys said, you're mechaven. Rabbi Yochanan Omar pamayim v'afilo pamayim. Just have to make sure I'm not missing any chashuv zachan here. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Omar pamayim v'afilo pamayim. And Rabbi Yochanan says no, as many pieces you want. You got to have 20 pieces put on the mizbeach 20 times in a row. My benayu. Is there a minimum of how much the kmitza must be? And the big shaila is how much do you need to put onto the mizbech at any given time? So in other words, again, is there a minimum how much must be contained in my hand? A, he says yes, there's a minimum, 2 kizaysim. Second of all, every time I put on the mizbech, it must be 1 zayis. Memela, there's a minimum. It has to be 2. You can't chop it up into 4 pieces. You chop it into 4 pieces. The pieces are too small. You can't put it on the mizbech. Guess what? This is how we pass it. So it comes out a big thing here. Rabbi Yochanan Sova yesh koyim tzpachos m'shnei zayis. Yesh aktar b'chutz m'zayis. So Rabbi Yochanan, no, there's no shear. So I can chop it up in 20 pieces, put it on as much as I want. Check this out. If
Shubin Levi Sova.
Rabbi Shimon Levi Sova, I said 100%. So ein koyim tzpachos m'shnei zayis and aktar b'chutz m'zayis. Somebody remind me to check out if I said that in the.
Check right now. You didn't say.
I didn't say the words of Shimon Levi, but I said what he said. I said what he said. I didn't say his name. Okay, fine. Now, it says like this. The halacha is you must contain in your hand at least 2 kizaysim. Says the stipler that no one in our generation has a hand large enough to hold the 2 kizaysim of that time. And the Yerushalmi says that if you cannot hold 2 kizaysim in your hand, you're puzzle for avodah. And the machlokes Rishonim what the Yerushalmi means. Does he mean any avodah at all, or just the avodah of kmitza? So it comes out according to the Rishonim that say that you're puzzle for all avodas. So there's nobody alive today that could do kmitza unless you are a mari, but he's not a kohen. Shaq's a kohen. Shaq's a kohen.
Wrote about this in his thing.
Right, Rabbi Shomuk wrote about it. So what do we do, Rabbi Shomuk? What's the bottom line? Of course he wrote about it. You're going to find the heter for you to do avodah. You're biased. Next, I'm not listening to what you have to say now. No, do 2. Right, I still look some sofer. Yeah. Okay. Itmar. So what does Yerushalmi mean that you puzzle avodah? He's arguing the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says that you puzzle avodah, but you can do 25 kmitzvahs. What's the problem? Go like this, like this, like this. So how you puzzle? How do you ever have a puzzle avodah according to some sofer in Yerushalmi? Okay, Itmar. Rabbi, it's a simple sugya. Think about it. You take the kmitza, you put it on the mizbeach, you get to eat the shirayim. Do you have to wait 5 minutes? Could you eat it immediately? Rabbi Chanina Oimer, Mishimoshla boy, as soon, the millisecond that it touches the fire, boom, you can eat it. Rabbi Chanina Oimer, Mishitatis boy, no, it has to grab most of it, 51%. Yeah, you sit there, make sure you turn the stick. Yes, and then I'll never forget this. It was Bir Chametz from Ramat Hanan in Bnei Brak, and the people were putting bread, and then a guy comes afterwards, and it was in silver foil, like a nice piece of bread. He opens it up, and with a stick, because he didn't want to touch it, and he chops it open, and he says, look, the whole bread, it's perfect, it's so edible, it's toasted and yummy. They weren't mekayim the beers, you have to go through and through. Okay.
Tell him he could eat it.
You need 51%. I'll prove it to you. On Makro, it says by Zdoim, there was a great amount of smoke, and Kivshon Malakitar. When does the furnace give a bunch of smoke? When you have a majority of fire. Rabbi Yisai, just to remind the Olam, in Zdaim, if you went over the bridge, you paid a certain amount, and if you swam across, you had to pay double. So with that being said, take a look at Zdaim. Welcome to the Zdaim. Took his hat with his money. Just to explain the Kitor. Things that are usually put on the mizbeach at night. You could put an oila at night. You could put the Yevarim at night. Means after Shkia. And it goes and it gets eaten up the entire night. You hear this? Things that are usually done during the day. You put the kmitza during the day. Usually it says Mashiach, or it says Meshuach. And all of a sudden it switches the language. You put it after Shkia. It just said it's something you put in the day. Elo, oh, there's a geschmack joke, but I don't have time for it. There's always time for a joke. There's Ma'aseh Shahaya going into Bnei Brak and on Erev Shabbos. There's always traffic, so the bus let everybody off. And as they're getting off, one guy screams out. He says, "Guys, it's almost Shkia. It's just a few minutes before Shkia. You got to rush to the mikveh to take a shower." So there's a Yeki there. He says, "What does rush mean?" And then there's a Litvak there, and he says, "What's a mikvah?" There's a chassid there. He said, "What's shkia?" And then there's a guy that was mama steiging away for the last week. He says, "What's a shower?" So the Gemara, how do you know that it's allowed? You're allowed to let it there be all night. One extra word. As the Gemara of if you're putting it on, we just explained, sorry. Elo and Boya Shemesh means, let's go back 10 seconds, a second before Shkia you put it on. You can't put it in after, you put it right before Shkia. In Boya Shemesh, that's why I said the joke, it's right before Shkia. As the Gemara, but if you're putting on a moment before Shkia, how is it going to grab the entire animal? How is it going to grab 51%? You know, like sometimes, I don't know, like if you give in, like, let's say your tax returns, just an example, You give in some, then you could later on send them documents or whatever. As long as you're like, you have to be in the game. You have to be in the system at a certain time, and then once it, so you put it onto the Mizbeach, boom. Okay, then what happens after? What? You have to go a second before Shkia, like you wash your hands before Shalosh Shudas. That's a good example. Right before Shkia, you wash, and then you're able to eat Shalosh Shudas. But if you want to eat it, then it has to be completely done. Like Kan Likloy, just to grab it, okay, that's right before. Kan Lahatir, but if to eat the whole Shirayim, it has to be 51% eaten. We're talking about the famous halacha called Poikim. So I'm just going to skip to here real quickly. Poikim means if something flies off the Mizbeach from the heat, so that you're allowed to put back on. That's what we're talking about. Yes, it's after Shkia, but you're allowed to put it back on because it's already on the Mizbeach. It flew off. If you notice, it's talking about the things that flew off. But 10 lines earlier, 8 lines earlier, it says, one of the things is K'toris. As the Gemara, here, so here's the video, that if you have K'toris that flew off the Mizbeach, you don't put it back on.
מה איתך קטורת? מתרגש?
האמת שכן, זכות גדולה להיות פה.
תזהר!
הצילו! הצילו!
I'm just going to read it.
נפלנו מהמזבח.
אשר תאכל האש הסועל על המזבח, עיקולי אוילו. At the machzor, something that falls off from an oilo you put back on. V'yat machzor yikulik toiris.
אבל מה איתי? מה איתי?
אתה לא יכול לעלות בחזרה, אתה קטורת, אתה נשאר פה, בהצלחה.
You can't get back on because you're toiris. Oh, you don't put back the Ktoiris. And it says in the Braisa, one of the three things I'm going to read, I can't read it. Where is it? Oh, one of the things is Ktoiris. It says Gemara, Samimi kan Ktoiris, take the word out. Stop right there. Ktoiris doesn't apply. Rabbi say Motzei Shabbos, 8:32 and a half. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Shkoyach, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.